Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's time for another Star Wars video because the salt is flowing.
That's right. Something has to flow.
Something has to flow. The salt is flowing with journalists who are very salty over the ending of the last episode of Mandalorian Season 2. We're not going to spoil it yet. We're giving you a fair warning.
Yeah, I don't want anybody else saying, you spoiled it and ruined it, even though it's been out there all day yesterday and today.
Yeah, and there are other articles which we're going to pull up that literally put the spoiler in the headline, which we tried not to do with our video, but whatever.
You put his picture in there.
Yeah, so what? It didn't even have anything to do with The Mandalorian. I just put a picture of a certain character. But beyond that, we get people complain about spoilers that are like Endgame's been out for years. And like, I still haven't seen it yet. You just spoiled it. I'm like, I'm really sorry. This is a pop culture thing. We talk about pop culture.
Yeah, so guess what? If you don't want to hear it, turn it off now.
Shut the damn video off.
And if you don't, then too effing bad.
Too effing bad. You've been warned. So before we get into the spoiler-filled video, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Over 160,000 of you have subscribed, which tells me that a lot of you like what we have to say.
And there's a lot of people who listen and don't subscribe too.
That is true. They're afraid to.
That actually is the truth. They're not allowed to be known that they subscribe or watch.
How very dare you subscribe to Clownfish TV. And also check out our pins. Go to shopclownfish.com. I'll put a link in the comments. I'll pin it to the top. No pun intended. You've only got a little over 2 days to get your hands on the latest enamel pins. I do not know if or how many of these we will have left over beyond the initial crowdfunding campaign. So if you want to make sure you get a set, get your hands on my big pencil and Geeky's
Okay, don't ever
brush.
say that again.
Just, it's a pencil. You got it. You got to do it now.
I know what you're doing there, and it's not okay. But these are pre-order too. Just making sure you understand that there are pre-orders, so they are not coming out until next year
After Christmas,
right?
Yeah, it's not magic at this point. So okay, guys, we're gonna rip the Band-Aid off. If you haven't watched the last episode of Mandalorian Season 2 yet, and you don't want to be spoiled, get the hell off the video. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, Luke Skywalker shows up.
Yep.
In what could best be described as an ass-kicking scene that should have been in the sequel trilogy.
Exactly.
And fans, they're on both sides of it. A lot of people are like, well, it's too little too late. I am in the too little too late campaign. Even though I thought it was cool, I'm like, damn it, now it just makes the sequels that much worse.
Yeah.
Because that's how Luke should have been reintroduced in the sequels.
Right, and it's funny because if you, like you even said, oh great, so they just killed Grogu. And meaning that the train of thought is if it goes into the sequels, then Grogu's going to die because of Kylo Ren and his people and all that went down. But of course, everybody, it's funny, all these people are having a fit. They're all like trying to find a way that Grogu's going to be okay.
He's not going to be okay.
He's probably fine. He probably wasn't one of the ones killed. It's hilarious.
Well, if this is one of Dave Filoni's characters, he's going to survive the Jedi Purge, even though he shouldn't. Because look at Ahsoka. When they introduced Ahsoka, they're like, oh, look, he's got this young girl as a Padawan. Oh, that's going to end badly. Mm-hmm. But here she is. Even after Order 66, she's still here.
That's right. And she's a better Jedi than Luke Skywalker.
Well, that's what the argument is. That Ahsoka is a better Jedi than Luke. We're going to talk about that because basically it's like, yeah, the scene was really cool, but you basically just gave the fanboys what they wanted. And they're just too stupid. They're too stupid to understand that, Luke's actually still a pussy.
Right, you're too stupid to know that the new characters that we white knighted for are the best characters ever. And
this right here, we'll get into that. First, we're going to talk about the Mary Sue, but this right here is why I am like, even though they threw us a bone, I am not on board with Lucasfilm because of people working for StarWars.com, like this writer, openly mocking fans, who were cheering for Luke. Just every opportunity they have. So you brought this one up, Mary Sue article.
Oh, yes, because I knew they'd have something. And it's that Rachel Leishman, whatever you want to say. The one who's, don't give me your hot takes about Captain Marvel to the men and stuff like that always has an opinion. Basically, first of all, I want to point out, though, the article is written that it makes it sound like I'm losing it over the Mandalorian's finale's big reveal. Like, oh my God, they're so excited about it. No. If you actually read the damn article, it's mostly, bitching about it. We're talking about, Luke showing growing up, and, you know, they said, of course it's Luke. Luke Skywalker is a drama queen. Well, considering how Rachel was probably the biggest one I've ever seen, she's an expert, so we'll just take her word for it. That is a fact, and I think there's a certain subset of Star Wars fans who pretend like he's not.
Keep your hot takes to yourself, Rachel.
That's right. I'm here to tell you that you're wrong. And The Mandalorian just proved it. Ahsoka Tano told Din that she would not train Grogu because he is too attached, and attachments with Jedi never end well. Yes, that's true. She did. And she's not completely wrong.
Right.
I mean, in this case, but you know, so now Luke is a shit show because, you know, he went in to get. She also was the one that told them what to do. For someone who didn't want him trained and thought he shouldn't be trained, it's awfully convenient that she told him exactly where to take him to make sure he finds another Jedi to train him.
Go find. Not that I want you to train him, mind you, but if you wanted him to get trained, go find the magic rock.
Right, and then reach out and tell them exactly how to find somebody to train him. You know, and then they're all mad because Grogu gets taken away from Mando. Well, that was his mission. That's what he's been set out to do. And sometimes, you know, you have to do what's best for your kids, even if something you don't want to do.
Yeah. So basically, like, oh, Luke screwed up, you know, Ben Solo, and he's gonna screw up Grogu. No, Grogu's just he's gonna cook in the Jedi Temple fire.
Truly, the most iconic iconic move a Star Wars property can make Luke Skywalker. You know, if the Anakin Skywalker, especially Ben Solo, they go by, you know, it's not gonna end well.
Maybe we'll have a Luke versus Grogu versus Ahsoka throwdown.
That's right. But if Ahsoka it wouldn't train him for that reason, which is true, but she's the one that told him what to do to go find somebody else to train him.
Well,
so she couldn't have been too hard in the paint on that one.
Here I'll talk about this. This is StarWars.com writer Brian Young. This is coming from Bounding in the Comics, mocking the Phantom Menace because he brings this up. He's like, yeah, there's that scene. He was on a podcast, Screen Rant podcast. And he said, I think this Luke is so consistent with the struggling Luke of Return of the Jedi and The Last Jedi, who is teetering between light and dark. And this shows that it's not a one-time choice. He has to make these choices every day because of the power and responsibility he has.
I understand that, but they kind of summed it up at the end of Return of the Jedi that he had made the choice.
Right.
And he had done what he was supposed to do. And I'm sorry, yeah, you make choices every day, but usually, you know, you're talking to extremes here. You're on, you know, the light side or the dark side, and most people, you know, there's gray areas, but most people tend to stay where their moral compass is. It's not like, you know, he's teetering on the edge and he can be evil at any turn. Grogu, however, I think could be, but that's another story.
But they have, you know, 30 years later, Luke still hasn't gotten his shit together. You know, it's like, how the hell did Luke do anything? But yeah, he brings up Ahsoka. He's like, you know, I think there's a contrast here between his discussion about taking Grogu versus Ahsoka's, where Ahsoka looks at him and says, nope, we're out of here.
Again, Ahsoka's one that told him where to go to get somebody else to do it.
We're out of here, but if you take him to the magic rock, maybe
somebody else can come and train him.
Somebody else can come and train him.
You're so sure that it was going to be bad, and because you sense much fear in him, why the hell would you tell him where to take him to find somebody else to do it?
And the Luke in The Last Jedi refers to his arrogance and thinking he could do this stuff. And here he's just like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, because he's supposed to be years later and blah, blah, blah. And they ruined him.
I'm just going to go take this baby. And Ahsoka's hesitation shows much more wisdom.
She's much older than he is.
She is. And, but, you know,
that's called character development.
It could be argued that she actually could turn to the dark side much easier because she was under the influence of Anakin Skywalker when he was sort of questioning the Jedi and, you know, had that rebellious streak in him that led to him turning to the dark side. And she was with him pretty much day in, day out. You would think that she would be tainted more.
Right, but I'm saying, you know, there's like the young Jedi is making a bad decision compared to the Jedi who's been around for many, many more years.
Yeah. But then, you know, we can't just say that. We can't just say, well, Ahsoka's a more mature Jedi who also trained during the height of the Jedi in the Jedi Temple, mind you. Luke was left to his own devices pretty much. You know, so she had that advantage. She went to college. She went to Jedi college. And Luke barely got his GED. Jedi JED. But he had to mock the Phantom Menace. But the sort of mind the Phantom Menace has, the Phantom Menace sort has, is I don't think it's going to parse. They're not going to parse the nuance. They don't understand.
They're too stupid to figure the nuances out that geniuses like me and the people over at Lucasfilm have set up, because we're just superior. And that's the attitude I've seen. When you don't like these movies, the attitude, besides calling you names, there's always this attitude, well, you fundamentally don't understand. I got told that. You fundamentally don't understand the character of Luke Skywalker. You fundamentally don't understand Star Wars. Unlike me, who is so much smarter than you. This person's attitude, like they could barely even use punctuation, trying to tell me that I'm too dumb to understand what they understand.
So other outlets, Polygon puts out an article basically saying that bringing a Skywalker into The Mandalorian to save the day betrays all the new characters. It's a cheap out.
You mean the new characters they did that no one bought the stuff for and it ruined the brand? So they're going back to the classics, which people understand and love, or the things that people understand and relate to and actually spend money on?
Yeah, so let's talk about that, because this is where the salt is coming from, because we saw it start with The Rise of Skywalker, which, you know, is a shit show, but they tried to course correct from The Last Jedi, because what happened with The Last Jedi? There was massive fan backlash of the treatment of Luke Skywalker and other characters, and what happened? The toys and the merchandise sat on the shelf.
People didn't want it. They've gone back to classics.
Right. And you look at what they're announcing, most of their lineup: Obi-Wan, Lando, Ahsoka.
There's a reason, people. For the vocal minority being such a small group of people, they're making an awful lot of changes for such a tiny group.
Yeah, because they want to make money. And what they're seeing is Mando stuff and original trilogy stuff sells. Oh, and by the way, yes, Boba Fett's getting a series too. Boba Fett, always been a huge draw, and now they're going to give him his own show, and they're going to sell the shit out of Boba Fett merchandise.
And they found people who actually relate to the fans and care about the property and want to bring it back to what it should be, and that they're problematic too, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, we can't have a Skywalker come in and save, because that, you know, it would feel too much like old Star Wars, and we don't want old Star Wars. We want Leslie Headland's new High Republic Star Wars.
Like, so the vocal minority, you're really actually seeing who the vocal minority really are at this point.
Journalists and Twitter.
Right.
And I'm sorry, journalists and Twitter is not a sustainable business model, and Disney, cash-strapped Disney, is looking at this like, oh my God, Star Wars is falling off a cliff. What do we do? What do people like? They like Boba Fett. They like kick-ass Luke Skywalker. They like Obi-Wan Kenobi. Let's just give them what they want, and they'll give us money. Yeah. That's basically it.
Just, you know, yeah, that's what they care about. They want to keep it going, and the new stuff doesn't resonate with people.
No.
Sorry. And you know, these journalists can bitch and scream and moan all they want till the cows come home, and that's what they're going to do. I mean, they're going to sit there and tell everybody that they don't understand the nuances and they're dumber than they are.
I was just thinking the cows, and I was thinking the space cows in episode 2.
Oh.
And I'm like, what if those cows actually came home and it meant bad things for the universe?
I don't know.
But yeah, that was not good Star Wars either. Surfing on space cows.
Yeah, that was
that was pretty bad. But I will actually take the prequels over the sequels any day.
I'll stick with classics, thank you.
Yeah,
and a couple of the new things, but not the sequel trilogy.
It's interesting how they cherry pick. Like, you look at The Mandalorian, and they cherry picked like the stuff that worked in the sequels or the prequels. They mostly ignore the sequels, and it's almost all original trilogy. You know,
But I think it's the time period it's in too.
But I think we're going to see more of that, because Disney, they have to make this thing make money, because like the previous video we did talking about Abigail Disney, she said they've only got so much salami and they got to slice it as thin as they can, because they're not making anything new. So they got to bank on the stuff that is bankable. Right,
because when they try, they don't make salami, they make something else no one wants.
Like those.
It's like turds. It's like, instead of salami, you're getting like turd sticks.
Turd sticks.
And you know, they misread the recipe and used something else.
Speaking of the prequels, you want to buy a turd stick?
Yes.
You should go home and rethink your life. I should go home and rethink my life. Yes. Yeah. Nobody wants a turd stick. That's like the new lightsaber.
The turd stick.
It's all organic.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I get what people are saying about Luke. It's like, why, you know. It does feel like they just shoved him in there because, like, quickly we have to do something, we have to course correct. And, you know, I get that. I get what they're saying. But I'm also like, you know, at least they're trying to win back the fans because they really lost a lot of people. For as much as the journalist kept saying, oh no, the fandom's fine. It's just a small group of people. It clearly was not.
No, it's not. It's not. I mean, the numbers don't lie. Look at the toy sales. Look at the unexcitement for Galaxy's Edge initially. You know, if they had based Galaxy's Edge on original trilogy, oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, but they're like, hey, it's like Star Wars, but not quite. It's not quite Star Wars. I can't believe it's not Star Wars.
Star Wars.
But yeah, I mean, it's look. I watched the episode with Luke Skywalker. You watched. I
watched the whole thing yesterday. Still have not watched Rise of Skywalker though, but I did watch the entire thing yesterday.
And yeah, you know, if I hadn't been so soured on Star Wars because of assholes at Lucasfilm who think they know better than the fans, I would have been geeking out too. But I'm like, oh, hey, that's nice. I'm not feeling it anymore.
Yeah, well,
you know, it was a nice touch, but I'm not feeling it anymore.
One thing I will give them credit for, and I have to mention this, because I only thought of it because of the way we've been trained by the journalists to think. It was interesting to me because when they were at the end in the last episode, and they were on the Imperial ship, and they split up to go. They sent Mando to go get Baby Yoda, Grogu, and they sent the rest of the team to go, do what they were going to do, try to get, Moff Gideon and such. I didn't notice until partway through. They were kicking ass and going through and doing all this stuff, and I realized it was a team of women. It was all women. And you know what? But the thing is, the fact that I didn't realize that until much further in, and the other reason I noticed it at all was because the way the journalists keep screaming about stuff, that I even would have even registered with me, because it didn't matter that they were all women, because they were just such good characters and they were kicking ass and taking names, and it didn't even dawn on me it was that, but they're all women. Because they were just characters that didn't matter to me. But the only reason it resonated with me at all was because I'm like, the journos would be like, we need more women. I'm like, oh, wait, there's all women there. I wouldn't normally notice it.
But because Luke Skywalker shows up to save the day, you're not getting the articles like you had for Endgame, where it's like, oh my God, look at this shot of all women Avengers, all female Avengers. You're not getting the like, oh my God, yes, Queen, all the female Star Wars characters. Because no, Gina Carano is one of them. Rosario Dawson's in there too. Yeah. Not in this scene, but she was in the series.
But they had the team. They had the two teams, and it was one guy. I mean, until Luke showed up, and then there was the rest of them were women, and they were out there kicking ass, taking names on their own, and it was diverse women too. But I only noticed it because we're so trained now. Like, I didn't even pay attention to commercials or things to notice what ratios there were. I never noticed it because it didn't even register with me to pay attention to that. Because in the real world, it doesn't matter. In the real world, people are all different all the time, and you don't think anything of it. You're just like, oh, that's my neighbor. Oh, that's my friend. I don't sit there and think, that's my neighbor, and he's one half this and one half that, and I better go find a different neighbor because I need a neighbor who's more diverse. You don't even pay attention to that shit. And I'm watching this, and normally, I mean, it's a compliment because it was so well done that it didn't even register with me.
Yeah, you care about the characters.
I know, because I was like, look at them kicking ass, and it was like they were like, was partway through the episode, but they were a good way into their siege in, and I was like, oh my God, it's all women, because it didn't even dawn on me because I didn't need to think of it in that way. And the reason I am is because the way Hollywood and the media has been pushing for this shit, that now it's like, it's things that shouldn't have registered with me now. But the fact that it didn't until later, it was a compliment to how well done these characters are, because they're just good characters. It didn't matter to me that they were all women.
Yeah, and 2 or 3 years ago, Lucasfilm would have put that together inorganically and been like, look, we've got our first shot at Star Wars where it's just all strong women. And if you don't like that, then you're problematic.
Well, now you're problematic because you like Luke being in it.
You're problematic if you like Gina Carano. She doesn't count. She's not a woman anymore.
She was like the best part because her gun went to work and she just started beating the shit out of people with the gun without shooting it. Because she's like, forget this. And just started slamming. It was great.
Have you seen her arms? Have you seen her arms?
Diverse. We have a woman who's thick. And she's not heavy, she's thick. And then we had an Asian woman, and we had a black woman, and we had a white woman with red hair that will probably be black in the next season. And we had all this diversity. And you know what? And it was awesome. You didn't even notice because you're too busy like cheering them on, kicking ass. And the fact that it didn't even occur to me until like way farther in that, oh yeah, because it's all women, was a compliment to their, to the characters and to the actors and to the people doing the show. Because it didn't matter. They were just really good characters who happened to have boobs.
Yeah, that would be a great comic book. really good characters that happen to have boobs.
That's right.
Written by Geeky Sparkles.
Right. They all have red hair because
They all have red hair. They're all ginger.
and they'll all be ginger, but they'll be all different ethnicities because they don't seem to understand that you don't have to be white to be ginger.
It's the rainbow of red.
That's right. There you go.
All right, so we're gonna wrap this one up.
Yep.
So there we go, guys. You know, they gotta find something to bitch about now. So it's, you know, The Mandalorian. I think at the root of it, it's just that they're seeing The Mandalorian succeed where the sequel trilogy and especially The Last Jedi failed, and they can't stand it because they fought so hard to put the man babies in their place, and they're actually winning.
Oh my God, the word "man" is in Mandalorian. Ugh, that's all I need to know.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, we're gonna wrap this one up.
Yep.
Okay, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.